I'd like to call to order the April 4th, 2011 meeting of the Ascension Drainage. Roll call. Madam Secretary, be known that Councilman Thompson's at work, Councilman Bell's out sick, Councilman Lower's out of town on business, and so is Councilman Cullen. We'll be running with 6 of us tonight. Would everyone please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, please look over our parish as we have a storm coming in as we speak. We want to remember about flood awareness month, that everyone take precautions, look around, and please report anything that's suspect, that we may try to take care of it before hard times hit us. We also look that we're going to be coming into the hurricane season the next couple months, and please look over us for that. Lord, we want special intentions. Please take a special look at the family of Dr. Joe Ben Welch of River Parish Community College on the death of his wife, Miss Dottie Welch. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please sign in with the secretary and you'll be given time to speak when that item comes up. Chair's addition, we have a request by Mr. Rue for a chair addition on to bring forward a CSSI weed control and put it on the agenda. We have a motion by Mr. Dempsey.
I'll second that, Mr.
We
Chairman.
have a second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey Lambert?
Yes.
Mr. Cluart?
Yes.
Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Mr. Todd Lambert?
Yeah.
Mr. Benny Johnson?
Yes.
We'll put that, Madam Secretary, we'll put that on the agenda as agenda item number 10A. The chair would recognize a motion to accept the minutes of the March 14th, 2011 meeting.
So moved, Mr.
We
Chairman.
have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert,
Second.
second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. On the chair's report and announcements, we do have, I just got a few things, and Mr. Rule will cover some of them, but we do have our permit in hand for the Marvin Bro Pumping Station, and our permit's also approved for the Henderson Bayou project. We'd hoped that the request of the parish president and administration and several council members to try to get the engineering company for the Pontchartrain Levee District to come in and give us an update on what they have going on the Lower Emit and Manchac projects, and see where we stand. We have some concern in that area of some things we need to do for the folks up in there, but the people that would be here to give that presentation are out of town right now. We hope to have them by the next meeting and possibly have an update by the next meeting that we could send out. That's basically all I got. We'll move right into agenda item number 6, the drainage report. Mr. Rue?
Yes, sir. You have the copy of the drainage report before you. I'm just hit some of the high points. On the HMGP elevation, that's the Homeland Mitigation Grant Program, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Mr. Bob Turner is back with the parish working part-time. He's assisting us in that grant program on the elevations. Of course, as everybody knows, we had a lot of problems because of the prior consultant involved in it. Mr. Turner is assisting me and the grants department clearing everything up and getting the elevations completed. Like Councilman Cluart said, the Henderson Bayou floodgate, the Marvin Bro Pumping Station, we did receive the permit on March 31st, last Thursday. Advertising the construction project is in progress, and the bid opening for that project is Wednesday, April 6th at 10 o'clock. So a couple of days from now, we'll know how the bids are on that. The bids for the Henderson Bayou floodgate will be advertised beginning next week. And we did this on purpose. We did not want to advertise both projects at the same time because most, if not all, of the contractors bidding on Marvin Borough would probably be interested in bidding on Henderson Bayou. So since those bids are coming in this week, we're going to start advertising Henderson Bayou next week, and we should be receiving the permit for that project in the next few weeks. We are confident that this is going to occur, so that's why we're going ahead with the bidding process. Also on the Henderson Bayou project, we have most of the land cleared, our land, that non-wetlands, on the east side of the potential site of the floodgate cleared. And we're in the process of putting in the access road to the east side right now. We're also negotiating with the landowner on the west side to put an access road coming in from 933, or subdivision off of 933, to the west side of the project. So we have construction access and maintenance access after the completion of the project. We're probably going to be getting the access road at no cost. Of course, we're going to have to build it for the landowner. He has use of it after it's completed. But we probably will not have to pay any kind of servitude costs for that access. We also negotiated a contract with DEMCO. It's on the agenda tonight to provide a three-phase service to the Henderson Bayou floodgate. And they guaranteed us that it will be in there in a few months if once we ratify the contract. And again, on the PLD levy district project on Henderson Bayou, as soon as I get information in from the contracting firm that's in charge of this, I'll get that information directly to you. And that's all of my report, unless I have specific questions.
Any questions for Mr. Rule?
I will have one addition. On the last page of the report, I'm going to call on our legal advisor, Mr. Mander, to explain a newly enacted law that pertains to culverts. And I'd like for y'all to be, it was something that was the Attorney General's opinion for years. Now it's actually an enacted law in Louisiana. And I'd like Ms. Mander to explain it.
Louisiana Revised Statute 334883 is really nothing you haven't heard before. It's just a restatement of what we've always advised, so I'm going to go over it with you pretty briefly. A parish or municipality may regulate culverts that impact the overall drainage system. There are two types of culverts, those that are mainly for a public benefit and those that primarily benefit private property owners. The parish or the drainage board can still pay for culverts installed that are for the benefit primarily of the general public. But for those that are for the benefit of private landowners, you can actually require them and should require them to install the culverts at their own cost. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I think that what it was, a couple of years ago, a little while back, they had some litigation in another parish over culverts and things like that. I think this went all the way up to the top. Mm-hmm. This may be what this law is, had came from.
Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Shakespeare.
Is there anything to do that with a fee?
Yes.
Or if we continue to do what we were doing and had a fee charge?
You can regulate it.
Yes, it says a parish may require that private culverts be purchased from or even installed by the public entity, but at their cost.
Right.
So, and you may require that of
Yeah, because I know
citizens.
the problem they had, the reason we got into that business, because private people were putting culverts down and they didn't put them into the correct
Right.
levels that we had. So we may look at something to at least have digging it out to the proper level and charging them for that.
I think that's part of the what Lindsay and I was talking about last week when this actually came out. We can regulate it, we can put a fee on it, but the major deal is the fact that if it's primarily for the benefit of a landowner, even our participation in installing it needs to be reimbursed by the landowner.
Yeah.
Unless it can be proven that, or substantiated that it's a joint use by the parish jointly at the same percentage of use, say 50/50, parish use it 50% of the time and the landowner use it 50% of the time. But in most cases, the parish may use it, may cross it 3 times in a year, where the property owner crosses it every day. So you get those issues like that, this law kind of says, hey, you kind of watch it, because it's an enacted law now, and it's not just an opinion. So just put a little bit more, I guess, control over the situation. And
Yeah,
something
I mean,
more we have to look at.
That's fine. I mean, I think people can accept the fact that it does cost to put it in there, and we're doing them a service to put it in. And if we do that, it's also our benefit to make sure it's at the right elevation.
What sometime, and I've been giving some thought to it too, what we may look at doing is something like the parish does for, well, in fact, the parish don't even do it for road covers, unless you get outside the first 40 foot of an entrance. But even in that case, it almost comes to a point of the parish having to charge a permit fee. You have to get a permit. That permit fee costs some money, and that money goes toward us digging it prior to the installation. And that's how you adjust the cost on it. But you see, right now, the road department doesn't charge anything to go and dig it out and place the first 40 feet. The property owner pays for the cover. So again, this is something that we're going to be looking at. We're coming back to both the parish and the drainage board on some procedures probably that we have to put in place.
Bill, but with the road and bridge, they'll replace a 40-foot culvert, but they will not put any more. If you don't
No.
have the toppings for it, that's all you know?
Right.
Is that the same with the drainage? If you go and put culverts, are you talking about just a culvert, or are you talking about a frontage of culverts and off-road ditches?
Any cover.
Because are we
any
putting
type.
off-road culverts?
One
frontage?
covered or 40 covers.
Like for the number 2,
doesn't
for
distinguish.
just the private, I was told that we don't do that, so that's what I'm.
Well, in the past, this is what we've been doing, is going in, and if a person wants this back ditch covered, and if it's a drainage servitude there, and we have to maintain that ditch, well, what we were doing is entering into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the landowner for them to buy all materials, and that we will put it in because we know exactly how it should be put in, so we don't have any kind of obstruction in the future.
And if any catch basins are required.
Any catch basin, they have to pay for it. Now, our advantage to that, or the way we substantiated it was, once we put the covers in, our maintenance of that ditch was nil. It turned over to the maintenance by the property owner because he could cut it then. So we did not have it, they have to go back on that section of ditch and maintain it. So that was our argument as being able to go and do it. So again, we really need to go back and look at our policy, and it needs to be the same with road and bridge and with drainage, so we don't have any kind of controversy one against the other.
Yeah. I know road and bridge is strictly just 40 feet. That's the max that they will put in.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Rue? Thank you, sir. We'll move on to agenda item number 7, authorized contract between East Ascension Drainage District and Demco for the electrical power supply to the Henderson Bayou Floodgate Project. Mr. Rue.
Yeah, again, I mentioned a minute ago that we have reached an agreement with Demco. The cost is not to exceed $200,000, and we ask that the agreement be approved and authorize the parish president to execute all documents after legal review.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition?
And one,
Yes,
just one
sir.
comment. Mr. Drew, and that will come off of the,
Captain.
The road,
west.
the subdivision road going back to, I think it's Velar, Edwin Velar. or something.
Irvin Velar.
Yeah, okay.
Urban
Urban
Velar.
subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the easiest route for them to take and the most time efficient. They can put it in a lot less time than they can coming the other way.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Motion passes. We'll move into agenda item number 8, approval of intergovernmental agreement between Punch Train Levy District and East Ascension Drainage District for joint funding of drainage projects. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. This is the second draft of the contract. The first one we were not in agreement with. We met, Ms. Manda and I met with their attorney and the president of POD, and and this is the result of that meeting, and we have reviewed it, and both Lindsay and I are in agreement with it. It protects us. We can get out any time, but it does provide joint funding of projects within the parish. And it also is going to lead to us being included into the West Shore project for future funding. So we recommend acceptance.
We have a motion by Mr. Kent Shakespeare. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any further discussion? I think everybody here has got a copy of that. You had sent a copy of that
Yes, sir.
revised
And it's
agreement.
in your packet tonight, too.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Move on to agenda item number 9. Approval of work order number 1, the SJB retainer contract survey access road to the Henderson Bayou Floodgate project. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. Again, this is something I mentioned before, but this is to approve the work order number 1, the SJB group, survey the access road to the Henderson Bayou floodgate not to exceed $38,645. Authorize the parish president to execute all documents after legal review.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert,
I second it.
second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move to agenda item number 10, approval of work order number 2 to SJB Group retainer for temporary spoil storage, Marvinboro Pump Station expansion. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. And again, this is another work order number 2, and to reiterate what happened in the past couple of months. We did issue SJB a $100,000 per year retainer contract, and this goes against that retainer contract. That's why we're not accepting any qualifications on some of this work. But this is work order number 2, and it is to provide a acquisition of a temporary site next to the Law Ridge levee, so we can store spoil from the Marvinboro pump station, which we eventually use for the upgrade of the Law Ridge levee. It's not to exceed $3,500.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Benny Johnson, second by Mr. Kent Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move on to added agenda item number 10A, contract between CSSI.
Yes, sir, this is to approve a professional service contract between CSSI and EA Drainage. Number 1 for grass management through herbicide application to reduce mowing of selected major channel bank servitudes at a cost not to exceed $145,000. Authorize the parish president to execute and all documents after legal review.
I second that.
We have a motion by Mr. George Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. The chair would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Mr.
We have a
Chairman.
motion by Mr. Todd Lambert.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any opposition? Motion passes. We are adjourned.